MakingStarWars.net.
All right, you Andorks. We got some Star Wars Andor news for you. And yeah, that's him. That's Andork Tony. I'm Andork Louis. And we're talking about a Star Wars show that we both like. We never saw, but we know we like it because we like to be out ahead of things.
I know I like it. You get me.
Yeah, you know. Me. I know. I was thinking at some point we should probably watch the Andor trailer again during the show today. It just kind of occurred to me right now. I wish I had set it up already, but we'll do it later. But okay. Today we got some Andor news that's been going around. There's been official stuff. There's been unofficial stuff I don't have too much stock in, but I think we'll still look at it because why not? We're not going anywhere. And then there's some Mando 3 stuff going around too today. And from, as Meg says, spill the Bo-Katan news, which we will get to at some point. But yeah, up front, let's look at the Andor stuff. And that's this is a press release, that went out. And synopsis: the Andor series will explore a brand new perspective from the Star Wars galaxy, focusing on Cassian Andor's journey to discover the difference he can make. The series brings forward the tale of the burgeoning rebellion against the Empire and how people on planets become involved. It's an era filled with danger, deception, and intrigue, where Cassian will embark on the path that is destined to turn him into a rebel hero.
So you know, Jason,
mm-hmm.
Cassian prefers to call it a toothy rebellion.
Oh, okay.
So you know.
Yeah, like a toothy sarlacc. Yeah. So title Andor, category original live action series, U.S. premiere August 31st. So if you want to know where you're going to be August 31st, well, August 30th you'll be staying up till midnight with us watching it, I think. Cast: Diego Luna. you can go to, if you get sleepy, you can go to bed. Guinevere O'Reilly, Bill O'Reilly's wife. Stellan
Killing Mon Mothma.
Stellan Skarsgård, Adria Arjona, Denise Ga, I don't know, Kyle Scholar, and Fiona Shaw. Showrunner Tony Gilroy. Directed by Toby Haynes. Episodes 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, and 10. So there you go. So we have a lot of the same director, which is good, I think, overall. Unless Toby shits the bed. If Toby shits the bed, then the whole show's ruined. But I'm sure Toby will rock it. Susanna White and Benjamin Caron, episode 7, 11, and 12. So, and then the writers are Tony Gilroy, Dan Gilroy, Stephen Schiff, episode 7, Bo Willimon, episodes 8, 9, and 10. And then we got the usual, for the most part, Kathleen Kennedy, Tony Gilroy, Wallenberg, Luna. So once again, Diego Luna gets producing credit like Ewan McGregor did, and Rejuan. And yeah, so it's pretty much what you would expect. There's a couple of like little things that I bring out in the stuff today that I hope everybody like remembers as we're moving forward discussing this series going forward, because the shittier side of the YouTube stuff is going to say that these are 2-hour episodes. They're 20 minutes. They're going to suck. They're 95 minutes. They're going to suck. You know what I mean? But we'll get to that stuff in just a few minutes. And then so up here again, these are from Empire magazine. I think this might be from the physical copy of Empire. So sent to me by a couple of people before the show. And so right here we could see Mon Mothma with Stellan Skarsgård, and right here in the background we can see some Mandalorian armor, what appears to be a rich man's collection. And behind it up top we could see a Kalikiri, I think it's called, which are what the Twi'leks, Tweens, whatever the fuck they are, those tentacle bastards. I say Twi'leks. I like Twilight. I like my vampires.
Kate and Ashley Twi'lek team up to solve crimes in the Star Wars universe when they're tweenleks. Right?
Tweenleks. But anyways, yeah. So you can see it over here in the corner right here, and those are like precious heirlooms to those families. In Star Wars Rebels, Thrawn has one. I think it belongs to Hera. That he steals it, and all of these like little trinkets are like symbols of things throughout their family line and lineage. And both sides are supposed to represent like the tentacles on their heads. So, anyways, so this would infer certain things about the character, that he's a rich bastard who collects antiques or rare things throughout the galaxy, clearly does not give a shit about your ideas of cultural appropriation or anything like that. He'll
Oh,
straight up, oh, hey,
finally
George.
a show for me. That's like me, Jason. I collect and I don't care. That's how I do it.
To be fair, your shit is white as fuck, George. Like
Yeah.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie comics. I mean,
Oh yeah.
uh, Saturday
Yeah.
Evening Post covers, original paintings
Right.
by what's his
Sad
face.
sack. I got a giant sad sack collection.
Yeah,
I don't talk about it, but it's pretty big. Also,
sad sack
also,
collection.
Jason, I don't know if you're aware, but
Mhm.
the Gilroy brothers had a third sibling named Kilroy.
Kilroy, right? And
Gilroy, yeah, Gilroy, yeah,
Kilroy.
yeah, yeah.
Did he kill it or what happened? Where's he at?
No, he
Why
works at
isn't?
Walmart. He's not as prolific, but he's he gets
All
by.
right.
All right,
I
whatever.
heard he's actually Killian Plunkett changed his name and made Star Wars cartoons for them instead.
You say
Went his own way.
Plunkett, and all I think is Red Letter Media, bro. Like that's how
Right?
brainwashed I am.
I think that was the dude's name. Yeah. So, anyways, what was I doing? Oh yeah. Sorry, George fucking Lucas. Everyone. Give
You
him a
bring
hand.
up a guy who's collecting antiquities and not giving a shit, and it's either George Lucas or Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the best of our knowledge, George was always pretty good on that shit. Like it didn't seem too egregious. But that museum's opening up, I think, this year. I'm really excited to go to it when it does. The one in Los Angeles with his collection of stuff. It's gonna be
Is
cool.
that the day you get COVID? Is
Oh, for
that
sure.
okay? Cool,
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm probably patient zero, so I'm probably fine. For the whole thing.
Everyone thinks they can't get a girl pregnant, Jason, until they
Oh
do.
shit.
You know,
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it. Pretty good at that.
pretty.
Yeah, well, one thing I like to do is I like to go on these vacations, right? Where I go to like maybe someplace like China. I strip out all my clothes. I live in the forest, just completely naked, and I hunt pangolins with my mouth. And I just eat them raw. That's safe, right? That's cool, right?
They're gonna take you serious, Jason. Like
That's
your delivery's too.
yeah,
It's
right.
too confessional. That's all I can add to that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry for the last 3 years.
Apparently, that's where you and Rehen Johansson came up with porgs. Right?
Right.
That's how it happened.
So then we got this other picture from Empire Magazine, and it's Cassian Andor on I guess a swoop bike, a speeder bike, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
Hey, it's
like
Anakin Skywalker. How's it going?
looks like Star Wars to me, Jason. See how everything's broken and there's actual, it's got dirt and shit on their clothes, and like there's tubes with dirt on it, and
It looks like 2 men hungry for pangolin to me.
man, dude, you're just a little hater. But
I'm not hating it. No, I think it
looks.
looks great. No, obviously, I mean, Andor is going to look just like the movies,
You think when they talk about this shot, they're gonna go on set? We had to keep making zoom sounds, woo, whoo.
Aria, no, Aria, don't let him do it to you, Aria. We haven't got there yet. Don't let him do it to you. Trust me.
What's wrong with Mando?
We're gonna get to it. It's not. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's good. I mean, it's good news. It's just, but a certain people, the same people who race baited a whole fandom, they're gonna have fun today, I think, with manipulating a story. But we'll get to the real story. Just
They spent their whole weekend wearing white hoods and Reclaim America shirts, and now they're back to Star Wars, huh?
sure.
Interesting.
Okay, so and then this is just more stuff which was in that press release for the most part. But this is the WGA, and the thing that I think is important to this is where I think this is important, by the way, is if you look down at the length, right below girth, is 60 minutes. So that 60 minutes is a window. That is the same window that they gave for Kenobi. And that has to do with the this is the Writers Guild of America. This has to do with the length of the script itself that they wrote for these episodes. So that's actually pretty good news. That means the Andor series is probably about 45 minutes in the end, around that length, but there's about 12 of them. So that's actually probably really good news. If this isn't a fudge, just put in something or a mistake. But once again, 60 minutes is more of a window for the script, not a specific runtime. So don't think this means you get 12 hours of Star Wars. You're probably going to be getting around 40 to 50-minute episodes is what that will come down to. If you go onto the WGA, look up any show you like that you know the runtime of, and check it out. Look up the writer, find it on there, and you'll see that that's pretty much a window. So if these were 2-hour movies or hour and a half movies, they would have a different length. So there.
Also, like I've been watching Only Murders in the Building or whatever, season 2, right?
Yeah.
Them episodes are 35 minutes long. Like they tell a pretty good cinematic, fun little story. Like, I think the problem isn't the length of the shows. It's when the whole series they feel they're getting like 28 minutes in like 5 episodes. Then it's like, well, why wasn't it just a movie? It's kind of a bigger issue. You know what I mean? Like, so I figured 35 minutes, even if there were 30 minutes, but if you got 12 of them, that's a series,
Right.
So,
yeah,
someone's going to do the math and go, that's the same as a movie, you idiot. And I'm going to go, all right, well, you got me there too.
well, this is going to be good because I think this is going to really feel like it's a series. I mean, Kenobi is probably my favorite thing that they've done. I'm not saying it's the most perfect thing, but it's definitely my favorite thing.
I gotta write that down on my Jason bingo card. I was waiting for you to say that. There you go.
And
go ahead.
And no, but the thing about it is the biggest thing going against it for me is the fact that it's only about it's only about 6 episodes. Okay, I can't turn off my sound right now, so stop texting me, please. Please stop texting me.
Sorry, Jason. I mean, I know we could talk, but I like to text while we're doing this too. So
I know. I didn't want to wear my headphones today, and I will go to headphones if it keeps doing it. Though I won't make the audience suffer any more than they have to by watching this show. But so anyways, Tyrant still wants to fight Tony Gilroy. I don't know why, but I hope one day they meet in a dark alley. But
he said he backed my Flash game because I called him a xenophobe, and I'm like, you called yourself a xenophobe. I just pointed it out. But I do appreciate the backing. Thank you.
Xenophobes are the aliens from Alien, right? Anyways,
hey, either way, we're talking about James Cameron, so it all works out.
Yeah. So it looks like around May 19th of 2022, they had everything worked out for writing credits and stuff on the show. And so the good news is that the first 3 episodes are written by Tony Gilroy himself, for sure. Gilroy was supposed to be a main director on it, but then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, obviously that fucked stuff up pretty bad. And, but we got one, and then 4, 5, and 6 are written by his brother, Dan Gilroy, who's also good news. Very good writer.
Nightcrawler fame.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the movie Nightcrawler? Mm-hmm. He did a pretty cool one right after that with Jake Gyllenhaal. It's trippy as fuck. It's right up your what's that fucking movie you like with the grease? The fucking
Greasy Strangler?
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but not funny.
Okay.
Kind of like one of those kind of pig movies or something. You know what I mean? Like kind of like that thing.
Okay. All right.
He's married to Rene Rousseau. That guy. You know that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, from the Lethal Weapon movies?
Yeah, that's why she's in Nightcrawler. That's his wife.
Oh, okay. No, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Lucky bastard.
But
Well, get Shorty, man. It's
yeah, you know what? I was thinking about that movie the other day when I came across. I was like, I need to watch this again. I don't think I've seen it since the 90s.
holds up, my
Right, right.
friend.
It does hold up. Good, good.
I watch it all the
All right.
time.
So Empire magazine gets into some fun stuff here. I think Empire must have went to Star Wars Celebration and talked to the people making the show. Okay. So Andor, Tony Gilroy explains Star Wars Rogue One prequel series epic 5-year structure. So the 5-year structure is the interesting thing here. Among the swath of news that came out of Star Wars Celebration this year, we learned that Andor is going to be big. The Rogue One prequel series telling the story of Diego Luna's casting Andor and the rising rebellion at the height of the Empire's powers is going to be a story that spans 5 years. The first year of which will be explored in the 12-episode first season starting this August. The now confirmed second season will also consist of 12 episodes, spanning the other 4 years, leaving off right where Rogue One begins. That's a massive 5-year, 24-episode tale. And speaking to Empire in the new issue, Tony Gilroy dug a little deeper into that structure and how this series will play out. So he says, the scale of the show is so huge, Gilroy explains, speaking at Celebration after the debut of the trailer. Directors work in blocks of 3 episodes. So we did 4 blocks in season 1 of 3 episodes each. So when you get down to it, like this is me now, that's just like a little tiny mini movie when you get down to it. This is going to be like a bunch of little Cassian movies.
Even if
And
they're
that's
30 minutes each, it's 90-minute film.
yeah, yeah, and so I'm gonna guess that they're probably somewhere in the high 30s to the 50s minute marks. You know what I mean? Most likely. And that shooting schedule that shooting schedule organically led to season 2's different structure. We looked and said, wow, it'd be really interesting if we came back and we used each block to represent a year. We'll move a year closer with each block, he says. From a narrative point of view, it's really exciting to be able to work on something when you do a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, then jump a year. So that means
This
that
is
mm-hmm.
this is what I talk about when I mean iteration. I don't mean you go on the internet like J.J. Abrams and go, "What did everyone hate about the last 2 movies?" Oh, do they? I know, like that's not what I'm talking about. That means you take what you did, but you also go, "Man, how can I play with this what I was working with in another way?" Like it's hey, when you get like I guess a musical thing. I don't fucking know music, man, but like when you get like a note or a theme, and you're like, I could take that one thing and then turn that into a whole like 3-song set that tell a story, and could not have arrived at that idea when you
Yeah.
started. You iterate off what you build upon. So
You're saying you
dope.
want your Star Wars like a smooth jazz.
As opposed to just making the same fucking thing every season because you're like, we got good response, they clapped, so we made more. Like,
They clap, so then we put it in Cad Bane.
We got the clap.
So, anyways, and then here's something big. For all it's spanning multiple years within the rebellion and the Empire, and with supporting characters including Genevieve O'Reilly returning as Mon Mothma and Stellan Skarsgård's brand new character Luthen. The the through line remains Andor himself, with Luna promising a more character focused story this time around. Rogue One is more about an event than the actual journey of the characters, he says. It's quite amazing to start a show where it's not where we can end. It's about how do we get here. Get ready, the beginning of the end is nigh. And then you have these people that are very important to Rob looking very fucking pissed off about something.
And my friends would tell me, I'm not interested. I'm not going. I'm like, great. I don't want anyone in the fucking theater when I go see it 8 times. I don't have to get COVID. Don't
Good, I
fucking
don't want
see
your
it. I
COVID.
don't care. I'm not here to convince you. I can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I fucking care. I I didn't also care if you saw all those fucking Transformers movies I didn't bother with, past the first one. Like, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah. So Santa added himself. Star Wars Santa, first day back from vacation, and now I'm in quarantine from a positive COVID-19 test. What did I miss?
Oh,
Yeah, I hope you're doing okay, dude.
is he
We're
doing all
all
right?
yeah, we're all rooting for you. You know, I was
We are.
I'm obviously more bummed that you've been that you got the COVID and that you're dealing with that. But I was really looking forward to hanging out with you. Like during this vacation, I was writing him. I'm like, hey, are we doing the show? Are we gonna hang out? Or what are we doing? Are we ready to go? And then he is like, yeah, dude, no, we're not doing it Monday. We're doing it Tuesday, you dummy. And I'm like, all right, cool. and then yesterday, he's like, oh man. And I was like, all right. And then we were talking about doing one today, but we decided not to because old Santa needs his rest,
Yeah.
And I agree. I think it's more important that you rest up. So, but when he's fine, we're gonna chastise him, call him lazy. We're gonna be like, oh, you got the COVID. Oh wow, big deal. It's almost like a pandemic stopping the whole world. But had to stop the Star Wars Santa show. Guess people couldn't get the Star Wars news that morning. Whatever, selfish.
Patient Claw Zero.
Oh no.
Oh, Santa.
Santa.
It's
No,
too
but
much for him. He's not ready. He's not full strength yet.
yeah. We can't make jokes yet. He's not out of the woods yet. Okay.
I love you, Santa.
Yeah, we do.
I was genuinely concerned. Ask Jason if you don't believe me.
Yeah, and like Miss Sunflower says, get well, Santa. Okay, but yeah. So, anyways, what else do we talk about the Andor rumor that's been floating around now?
Like a turd in the pool.
Yeah. So this is a rumor that's like going around. Chris, I heard it from a couple of people already today. Chris sent it to me. Me and Bespin talked about it for a bit. And for the record, me and Bespin went and we both hit up our sources about stuff regarding this stuff. And we didn't get anything back that was like positive. Okay. Like we didn't get that any of the stuff is like appears to like pan out. So, but it's interesting. So we're just gonna share it as a food for thought kind of thing. And so don't get confused that this is from my sources or Bespin sources. Excuse me. This is just a thing that is going around, and we're gonna talk about it for the fun of it, since we're doing kind of a little Andor, bunch of Andor stuff today. So Stellan's character, Luthen, is an ISB agent infiltrating the rebellion. They killed Luthen, and an Imperial ISB agent is mimicking him. This was done via plastic surgery. Another actor plays the actual ISB agent. So it's completely possible. It's a bit of a face-off thing. But here's one thing I want to point out. These rumors, two things I want to point out. Kenobi pulled from the animated stuff a lot harder than we believed it would before we ever saw it. If we were just to have weighed the fan math on it, we would have said, oh, Inquisitors, I don't know. That sounds like something somebody would say who played the video game. Oh, Reva Story sounds like something someone would say who played the video game, and so on, right? Well, there's an episode where Kenobi goes under this kind of process, fakes his death as Kenobi, even has to fool Anakin, which makes Anakin really mad at him, and then goes underground as a spy for a time during the Clone Wars. It's a bit of a ridiculous arc, but I am pointing that out that happened in the animated series. So number one, there's a precedence for it, but also number two, might be complete bullshit that's just pulling from that. So wait as you will, okay? So that's the first thing. But this is a spy show, spy thriller, if you will. And so that seems completely on the table, okay?
What's interesting about it to me is that it's not filled with cameos. You know what I mean? Generally, fan math
Oh
just
wait,
does cameo
oh wait,
information. Oh shit!
you got ahead. You got too far
Oh
ahead.
no! Oh my
Yeah,
god!
yeah.
I tried. I
So
tried. I'm
no,
trying to be positive here.
yeah, your opening point. I mean, this for what it's worth doesn't read like the average bullshit that we get for the fake stuff, but we had some stuff from Book of Boba Fett that didn't necessarily read like that either, and was all bullshit too. So people are just getting better, right? Every day, every year, Rob, they're getting better. The fakes, the leaks, are they real? Are they fake? Okay, so there is a 2-part conspiracy political thriller episode following just Mon Mothma. It takes place over the course of a long night on Coruscant. Mon Mothma is at a Senate party navigating slimy Imperial admirals and senators, trying to suss out who could become an ally, all while avoiding prying Imperial eyes. Palpatine greets the party via hologram. His appearance looks like he did before the scars, and he apologizes for not attending in person, but he never does. He never attends the parties because it's it's an avatar. Get it? It's an avatar.
Not. I
Yeah,
okay.
I'll take
Yeah.
that down.
Yeah.
So
You're gonna confuse the simple-minded, and I'm one of them. I'm like, wait, what?
what? It's a cat
Because he's
man.
a blue hologram, is a blue avatar. I'm
Is
getting
he
all
from the
confused.
planet Catmandu? Okay. Anyways, now here we go. And also, well crafted, if not true. Fan favorite Yularen is there. Now, Yularen is the guy from the Clone Wars War. That guy, he's the guy who's always like hanging out with them, who commands the Star Destroyer. Obi-Wan and Anakin are on during the Clone Wars episodes. Also, the one dude who wears a white uniform on the Death Star in A New Hope. That's the same character. And so fan favorite Yularen is there. He shares a drink overlooking the Coruscant skyline with Mon Mothma and hints he misses the Republic and Jedi. But obviously, it's not the time or place to state his true opinions out loud.
You mean the Republic and the Jedi, not Republican Jedi? It's just
No,
okay.
not Republican Jedi's.
Kind of
That
slurred the
would be
words a
Star
little
Wars
bit.
Santa. No,
I was like,
different.
what? Jason, let's. Well, it's his call, not mine.
But there are a lot of guys in white uniforms in this show. So if Yularen was ever going to show up, this would probably be the one. Once again, if fake, well done, faker, well done. But also like there's that rumor also that from a while ago about what's his name, the guy who plays Gollum and Snoke,
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis. Supposedly Andy Serkis wears white uniform too. But the
Oh.
real joy of the episode is a clone everyone might know, Thyre, Thire. I think that said Thyre. There is no longer an active. There is no longer an on. There is no longer on active duty in the main Imperial police on Coruscant. The clones having been mostly phased out. He's older, but his policing experience made the Imperials keep him around as a security instructor, and he oversees event security with younger normal recruits. He's been assigned to oversee the security of the Senate party, which takes place in a high-rise luxury building. The party is interrupted when unknown assassins kill 2 senators that Mon Mothma was grooming for the rebellion. The rest of the episode sees Commander Thyre on the run, protecting Mon Mothma from these assassins across various locales on Coruscant. You'll see chases like the speeder chase in episode 2. Thyre and Mothma have great, funny chemistry. It's very much a Star Wars take on The Bodyguard, minus the romance. But switch Kevin Costner, Whitney Houston with Genevieve Riley and Tamara Morrison. These 2 episodes will be an absolute highlight.
That's a pretty specific thing to throw down, though. Like,
yeah.
That's a pretty specific.
Do you think it has a song that goes Jedi, I will always love you? You think they do it with
Only
Jedi?
Dolly Parton sings it.
Dolly Parton, national treasure.
National fucking treasure.
Gave money to solve the COVID stuff. She did it.
Beyond that, just for years, she's just been great. Like, she's been so great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fucking 9 to 5, dude. Anyways,
That's where I
yeah,
fell in
so
love.
that's all stuff that I have no idea if it's real or if it's fake. As me and Bespin Bulletin were discussing it, we were kind of going back and forth, and we were like, he mentioned to me that Tamara Morrison went back to New Zealand shortly after the end of filming for Book of Boba Fett. But it could have been filmed then. There was also stuff back in the day about how casting Andor would film in LA as well. The production magazines had Cassian filming in LA and the UK. And so we were kind of like, And according to this rumor, there's going to be like speeder chases like the one on Coruscant from Attack of the Clones. That would probably be done in a volume.
And we have pics of a speeder chase.
And so it's completely, no, I mean like Attack of the Clones through Coruscant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I see. All right.
with Mon Mothma and this clone, according to this rumor.
Right.
So, but the person also says all of this stuff was filmed at Pinewood. So I kind of like, that's where I go, but same thing happened with in the production magazines for Acolyte, because Acolyte has a production office at Manhattan Beach. So that's probably why. So it's kind of yeah, it's kind of a wait and see. Wait and see if any of this, seems to pan out or seems to be true. It's definitely a weird one though. Definitely weirder than most of the stuff we've had before.
Well, we did have that one decent sounding leak before on Obi-Wan, right? Remember that one? Was it Obi-Wan or Boba Fett? We did one, remember, where we were
it was Boba Fett. Nobody had
Boba Fett.
really shit going on for Kenobi.
That's right, it's Boba Fett. And that was 100% wrong.
100% wrong.
Wasn't even remotely right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just ended up being it just ended up being kind of a situation where they took all of the building blocks that seemed to make the most sense. You know what I mean? And they did an okay job with it. And so this stuff right here, like I said, take it as you will. It was just a fun rumor. Like whenever I report something and it's like from my sources, I don't really consider it to be a rumor because I believe in it. Like I believe my people, my Star Wars agents, if you will. I trust them, and they're usually pretty fucking on. And so whenever something like this is just out in the wild, I don't endorse it or anything like that. I just go, okay, food for thought, because sometimes things do leak out organically, and they're just out there, and you're just like,
and
okay,
we won't forget. Like I'll remember. I'll be like, that shit was way fucking. Remember that shit? Like, yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And once again, if it was a fake, good job, Faker, because it's so left field that it sounds like it could be real. It seems possible. But what it has going against it is it only really mentions 3 characters, and 2 of them already are people you've seen in cartoons, which is usually not a good sign. That's the one that going against it.
Yeah.
But like I said, Kenobi pulled a lot of stuff from the other shit that you wouldn't have thought it did. That would have sounded kind of fanny at the same time too. And so, yeah, I don't know. But let's go on to talk about the old Bespin Bulletin. He's been out there doing the Bespin stuffs all day, as he does. Here, let me share my tab.
When I think of Bespin Bulletin, I think of Kent from Ted Lasso. He's just like, fuck, he's mad all the time. He just wants to tear everyone apart and shit.
Yeah, I messaged. I finished Ted Lasso, and I will say before we get there, I was right about season 2. Season 2 put all of that. I don't know what the word is. Saccharine. I don't know. All of that sweet bullshit up front, and because it was going to go dark and dirty later on. So they wanted to keep people on board. So they played it cute early, and it just annoyed me then. Then season 2 got really good. But yeah. But I messaged both you and Bespin, and I was like, what's his name? Fucking Nathan.
Hey,
Oh fucking boy, have I known some Nates in the Star Wars scenes in my time. I'm gonna say there are more Nates in the Star Wars roster of people than anywhere in the world. Oh boy,
that sucks.
boy
I
did that
felt
hit
bad
home.
for you when you mentioned it. I was like, because I've had a couple close friends growing up go rogue, and
Yeah.
like it breaks my heart. And then but when you're like everyone you fucking like, if everyone I knew in the art community was like just turning their back on Rob and trying, I mean, I don't know, man, it's tough. Like,
Oh yeah.
how do you trust anyone? How do you even trust me, Jason? Like,
Oh, I think I could smell it now. I think I could smell it a lot better than I used to be
is
able
that
to.
what I
Mm-hmm.
is that what I
Yeah.
did? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Bespin says he's Roy Kent.
Roy can't. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, Bespin Bulletin, Roy Kent. The Mandalorian season 3 undergoing additional filming by Roy Kent. Just a few days ago, Bo-Katan Kryze actress Katie Sackhoff posted an apology to her Instagram account that she was unable to make it to the Fan Expo in Denver due to work commitments. And within the video, she gives a major hint as to what exactly she was working on. In her video, Sackhoff said, I ended up working much, much later than anticipated on a little show that we all know and love. And it made it quite difficult for me to get myself to the convention in time. Before signing off the video saying, this is the way. Back in March, I'd heard there were plans for additional filming, which could mean pickups or reshoots, but perhaps scenes they were unable to film at the time. More on that later. When I was told about additional filming on the 3rd season of The Mandalorian, I was told to expect them around July and August, and Sackhoff's comments seemed to add credence to that what I previously heard. At the time, I speculated if the summer shoot would be when Pedro Pascal would be able to film scenes for the highly anticipated 3rd season, as I believe he didn't film any scenes throughout principal photography on The Mandalorian season 3. Me either. I never got any smoking gun that he was there. Pascal, during principal photography of Mando, was busy filming The Last of Us for HBO, though he did have a break from December into early months of this year. But at the time, I heard he hadn't filmed for Mando. Pascal wrapped filming on The Last of Us last month and is currently not filming another project. So it's also worth adding a comment made by Giancarlo Esposito, who plays Moff Gideon in the series back in April during an interview with Rich Eisen show. Do you remember that one? We played the clip here. When asked about I remembered it just now when he wrote the name. When asked about the release of the 3rd season of Mandalorian, I've got a few little things to do in regards to that to put some finished touches on what I do. I believe it'll be sometime this summer, no date set, but coming soon. Following his comments, some outlets and fans took this to mean The Mandalorian's 3rd season would release in the summer of this year. At the time, he said it would not be the case, and since it's been confirmed that the 3rd season would release in February. As I've mentioned, from what I believe, this is the planned additional photography and certainly not anything to worry about. I know some fans or content creators will try to spin the filming as panicked reshoots in an attempt to get fans to worry, but they are not
That's
and
me.
are
That's what I
a
do.
normal part of the production process. The Mandalorian the Mandalorian season 3 is slated to release in February on Disney Plus and will be followed by Ahsoka, which is deep into production at both Manhattan Beach Studios and El Segundo, and it's also planning to release sometime next year. So, and then pay the man. Pay the man if you love the man. That's what I say. So yeah. So there you have it. Yeah, I would say what it comes down to is that if they are filming, if this does pan out to be the situation and what was going on, they most likely never had the Pedro Pascal moments of his face. It's most likely going to be filmed in the volume. And they're probably just getting everything where his helmet's off. Probably needed to do the scene with Katie Sackhoff and probably is a big moment, and they probably really had to make sure they got it right. And because they've already done reshoots on the show, reshoots are normal. Reshoots are a part of every single production. Every single Star Wars production goes forward with the straight plan, and then there's a budgeted amount of reshoots that are always there. And these right here, we don't know if these are classified as reshoots, or is this just simply additional photography that needed to be done because they didn't have Pedro Pascal during principal initially. And that seems to be the best working theory about what this could mean. And like Aria said, like I could see it already, that if the narrative is forming, that if this is a bad, horrible thing, and it's not, and the series isn't coming out next week, it's not the next series. You know what I mean? Andor's the next series. There's a whole nother series to come before this one has to come out. So they could have fucked the whole thing up. They could have made it, that was all hijinks and it sucked, and they would
Even
still
if
have
it
time to fix
was
it.
total reshoots because it sucked, like, isn't that what these guys wanted on Obi-Wan?
Mm-hmm.
Total reshoots. So, like, wouldn't they be happy?
You would think so.
I'm just trying to find the consistency of this argument, Jason. You know,
I'll tell you what the consistency would be. That of dog shit. They would go and they would turn it into, oh well, they had to do reshoots, they had to film stuff. That means Kathleen Kennedy needs to be fired. That's what they would say. But the thing about the initial shoot was that it had a lot of, like I said, it had time. They seem to have taken their like time, and then now with where we're at, I think if they're filming anything, I think they're probably just filming Pedro's face stuff. Most likely that's what it is. But we need to try to get Pedro in El Segundo or Manhattan Beach. If we can do that, then we'd have something. I'm also gonna go. Let's go a little conspiratorial too. What if there's some kind of Ahsoka overlap? What if they wanted to use some stuff that was going to be made during the Ahsoka era of the series to put it into the Mando era, and that stuff will overlap? It's always a possibility, especially with Ahsoka weaving in between her show and that series already. She's already been in 2 seasons. She's more of a Mando character at this point in live action than anything, so far. So that's something else just to, maybe just consider. Not saying that's what it is. I have no idea, but yeah, it definitely could be. So let's go look at the old chat and see what the chat's saying. Oh, Johnny says that's a pick from Willow 4. Johnny, someday they're gonna make Willow 4, and I'm gonna be really happy. But
I was listening to a podcast. Someone was bringing up Willow the other day. They're like, I fucking love Willow. I'm like, who was it? Someone was doing it.
It must have been somebody with really good taste. Are you sure it wasn't this show?
No, that's why I was like, motherfuckers, we're dropping the Willow.
Yeah.
Can't remember. I'll remember it. It'll come back to me.
Yeah. I love Willow. Okay. So Team DJI actually made it. How's it going, dude? And Bespin. By the way, when you are playing video games with Bespin Bulletin and he says another happy landing, it's pretty fucking solid. It sounds just like Ewan McGregor. He's got, yeah. There was a day when I was like, what is Ewan McGregor's accent? And we, turns out it's kind of not real. It's like something that they're taught in school and theater. It's like a fake British accent in a way. That they do for Americans in Hollywood back in during Alec Guinness's time is basically the takeaway. But Bespin sounds just like him. So Upper Brohampton Catch Championship Wrestling says, I got married on Saturday. Mrs. Upper Roehampton Catch Championship Wrestling made the most perfect and beautiful bride. We exited the church to the Star Wars main theme. Nice, dude. Congratulations. On the old marriage. And only thing I would say to people who get married is if when your son's 8 and he accidentally sets the rug on fire, go easy on him. That's what I say. As it true says, flying to LA tomorrow for a holiday, so I won't be able to catch much of the show for a bit, but I'll catch my Star Wars leaks and news when I can. Nice, dude. Have a good time and
mask up on them planes.
Yeah, stop over. We'll eat some chicken here. Good.
Outside.
Hey Carlo, how's it going? How are you? Yep. And that was the Calicori and Mando armor in that picture. So which they I still want to see that Mando armor from Solo: A Star Wars Story show up in the Mando series. Like I was kind of hoped if they ever brought Kira in, she'd have it or something. They do something fun like that with it, you know. But Johnny says you're in the aisle of misfit toys. Back when men were men and women were Anthony Kiedis. Was Power of the Force 95. All the men are overly buffed, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers' first appearance in Star Wars is up here in the left-hand corner of Rob's screen right there as Princess Leia. So maybe that's why it felt so natural when Flea showed up in the series, and it didn't break Star Wars for me. Hey, Mark, how are you? People are already speculating big cameos and normal Star Wars fan film stuff instead of worrying about the actual story. Can't wait for people to get disappointed when Cal Kestis doesn't show up. Yep, it's one of those things, you know. I was pretty happy with like how we got names mentioned for the most part, or when there were cameos in Kenobi, like we had the name mentioned, or we had like it was they didn't point it out. They weren't like, look, everybody, here he is when he's a little boy. Here's that guy from the books. Here's Corn Horn, worst name ever. I do feel like Corn Horn should be like from Texas. She'd be like, oh, my name is Corn Horn. I'm here to learn the Force from you. Like it kind of has that kind of vibe to it,
A bit.
but I like that it wasn't like you weren't beat over the head with it. I mean, even the fucking partisan stuff was played subtly, and in a way, kind of like that, like how that connective stuff is. It doesn't help the casual people, but I don't think the casual people care in the first place, you know. So, and like we were saying, Aria, I hope that cleared it up for you, and you know that it's not anything to worry about. It's not really an issue whatsoever. But if I said it was, I'd make the big bucks. Carlos says this is pure Star Wars. So I think Andor is going to end up making Galactic Civil War Star Wars people probably pretty happy. I mean, with there being these like little mini movies, I think there is a chance that one arc could have a Jedi in it, right? Like it seems like
Well, we
with the
have clone
layout.
troopers.
What's that?
We have clone troopers.
We got clone trooper. Well, if it's true.
Well, it's in the trailer. There's the clone
Oh,
trooper ships.
we have little, yeah. I'm gonna
Yeah.
guess that if that's when Andor's like the 6-year-old Andor, when we get like the
Right.
early stuff.
Right.
And then, but I think that is going to be post Order 66. So there could be Jedi hiding out there and stuff, right? Like it would still be like technically like dark times stuff, probably.
By
But
the
yeah,
way,
you're right though.
that's the title I wanted for the Obi-Wan show. I just dawned on me this weekend. Dark Times.
Yeah.
Just Star Wars Dark. It could have called Star Wars Dark Times, and it focuses on Obi-Wan this time. But since they didn't have Kenobi, no one could be like, "There's other characters in it." No, the main story is Kenobi, but all this it takes place during the Dark Times.
Yeah. I'm curious if they would ever pull a George Lucas and rebrand something existing, you know? Because
Because
if
it's just
they
he says it. It's just a perfect fucking name for this whole thing, you know.
yeah,
Like
it's unlike, I mean, it's been comic books, it's been all kinds of things throughout the Star Wars stories, but it is the thing he actually says, a phrase from his
right.
Star Wars mouth with an F at the
Yeah,
end.
I rarely go with what they should have done, but that one if there was one I'd ever fucking say to an actual professional working on Star Wars, I'd be like, should have called it Dark Times.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. It's my only advice.
But Mark, are you being facetious or did you actually not like it upon rewatch? Mark says, I rewatched Mando and now I hate it. Hey, thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate the
Hate it.
love and
Hate
support.
it. Ah.
Hey, you know, sometimes it happens.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go.
Nobody said delay, Aria, says Bespin. I wrote the article you're referring to. Yeah. And we got to it. We covered it. And I think we're all on the same page now. I hope. But and Tyrant, you know, still wants to fight Tony Gilroy, which is your right.
It's all fun and dandy till fucking Gilroy shows up with his brother. You know what I mean? They're in tracksuits ready to go.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, all right. Well, there you go. It's my only advice.
But
It's like, all right. Well, there you go. It's my only advice. All right. Well, there you go. It's my only advice. All right. Well, there you go. It's my only advice. All right. Well, there you go. It's my only advice. All right. Well, there you go. It's my only advice. All right. Well, there you go. It's my only advice. All right. Well, there you go. It's my only advice. All right. Well, there you go. It's my only advice. All right. Well, there you go. It's my only advice. All right. Well, there you go. It's my only advice. All right. Well, there you go. It's my only advice. All right. Well, there you go. It's my only advice. All right. Well, there you go. It's my only advice. All right. Well, there you go. It's my only advice. All right. Well, there you go. It's my only advice. All right. Well, there you go.
Bespin's going to see Elvis today, so maybe he'll come back and he'll be a whole changed man with a new pelvis move.
Fun
Jonathan,
Elvis, Easter egg.
what's
If
that?
you ever watched the movie Batman Returns, are you familiar with it?
No, never heard of it. Is it good?
Yeah, they have this scene where they go to where Penguin's in the Hall of Records, right?
Right.
It's an establishing shot, and there's these two big heads next to the Hall of Records. It's Elvis's head.
Ah,
The joke is that records,
okay. Got it.
but it's
Got
Elvis.
it. That's dumb. Um,
Yeah. Hey man, it
yeah.
happened. It's real.
I think Elvis is a shithead. I think he sucks. I
Yeah,
think
it's
I think
not
he's
my thing.
just a performer. So fucking what? And try to stop the Beatles. Actual songwriters, something he can't really do worth a shit
Right.
and stuff like that. I think he fucking sucks. He's a Nixon fucking guy. He's fucking like all about DEA kind of shit. Fuck. I
Yeah.
say fuck Elvis in his stupid fucking mouth. I say we
Good
shove
taste in cakes.
banana sandwiches
That's
down
nice
his
about it.
fucking with peanut butter until he fucking dies on the fucking toilet again. I hope he goes to hell. I think he's the shittiest fucking music person around, uh, except for Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton, national treasure. Aria says Game of Thrones was always 15 minutes per episode. Hope Andor is our version of Game of Thrones. This I think this could be the closest thing that we will have had to a Game of Thrones with Star Wars in that sense. I still think it's always going to go back to Andor as the through line, as they said, I think in that article. So I'm not so sure we will be in a situation where it's like where you're going to have that scope necessarily, because we're always going, like, imagine if every single episode of Game of Thrones was Jon Snow. That might be kind of what we're getting though, at the end of the day, and you have all
Well,
these factions coming together throughout
two
it.
things about that. So one, I chalk it up to like just Gilroy having made them their money on Rogue
Mm-hmm.
One. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you get to cash in cars when you make $1 billion, and this is what I figure he cashed in on.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I will defend Jon Snow's stuff in the books. In the books, it is the most accurate to what I ever experienced being in the military.
Okay.
So in the show, it's mediocre. It doesn't work as well. But
He's pretty much what I liked about the show.
yeah, it works, but it's even better in the book.
Mm-hmm.
But and I rarely I'm not one of those guys. The book is better. No, it's
Yeah.
different. But this is like this life of going up to like this shithole surrounded by a bunch of fucking like rogues. You know what I mean? That you're supposed to be like loyal to all of a sudden, and they ain't loyal to you, man. Like it's
Right.
that kind of thing. And
Right.
watching him navigate those waters. Like a guy who always felt like an outcast, but now he's really up a shit creek. Like, he didn't realize how much he was being protected until he got into that situation.
Right. Right.
Yeah, a lot of it's very similar to the military. A lot of guys go through that. They don't realize how alone they are.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. I wouldn't have made it.
would have made it just fine.
They'd have been like, run a mile. I'd be like, in whose shoes? Miss Sunflower said tickets for Star Wars Celebration 23 already sold out. Whoa. Yeah, I mean, maybe Miss Sunflower. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see, oh no, we found an extra 10,000 tickets happen a couple more times. It seems to happen every time. I'm
Right.
not telling anybody that they shouldn't jump to get their tickets if they want to go. I think you might want to make sure you do, but it always seems to go that way. So I'm not necessarily patting them on the back for a job well done necessarily yet, or about the
Thought
health
Star Wars
of.
was dead, Jason. That it's
Oh,
over. Like,
oh, it is. Oh,
it's just funny, man. These cats declare shit's over, and then the second there's something you could spend money on, it sells out. It's just like,
yeah,
whatever. It's hilarious to me.
yeah.
I'm not going.
Right.
Ain't my jam. But
Blake is stoked for Andor. The more I hear, the more I hear read, the more I'm into it. Which is I mean, which is good. I mean, because I think in a lot of ways, like we have the recognition of Andor through Rogue One, right? We've seen him before, but he's not Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know what I mean? It's the most maybe original thing that they've tried to like do so far. And the idea that it's going to be basically 24 parts um of I don't know. It feels like it's sounding like it's adult Star Wars, right? I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's kind of like what Gilroy seemed to be going for. He was like, my wife, when I tell her about Star Wars, she doesn't care, but I want the stuff in this. I want her to care about this stuff. So it
As
sounds
much
to me like
as
they're
Star
going for
Wars
that.
can, as much as Star Wars can be adult,
Yeah.
like it's never gonna be. You're not gonna get the Joker version of Star Wars,
Sure.
like it's not gonna happen unless they're really hard up for money.
No, I don't think so. Miss Sunflower says, I just watched Star Wars Makes video about Andor updates, and I'm liking what I'm hearing and reading, but I'm going to temper my expectations. Which is once again, it's always good to be excited. It's always good to go like, where is this going to go, and what is it going to be, and to like hope for the best. But at the same time, you're completely coming at it from
No,
the right mature angle of
no,
until something is
no,
until you're watching
no,
something, you don't know if
no.
it's good.
Unlimited high power.
Oh,
No, I'm
right.
telling you. Look at that. I
Right.
invoked your favorite film, Jason.
Thank you.
Yeah, of all time. And I
Okay.
just gotta say, there's this show can do no wrong. It's gonna cure cancer.
You think so?
Metaphorically, in Star Wars parlance, yeah, it's gonna be the greatest ever. Everyone's gonna love it. Uh, seriously though, I'm seriously excited. I can't wait.
Yeah.
This is the one where they're gonna go. Rob is a fan of Star Wars.
Oh. Oh, Rob does like it, huh?
Unless I hate it, and then they're gonna be
Whoa.
like, "Even this you can't like."
Come on, man. Can you like anything? Can you like
Yeah.
anything at all? All right, let's I was
Only
gonna
murders
say
in the building.
what?
I like only murders in the building.
Okay. That's cool.
All right.
What is that?
It's you never seen it? They're
No,
on
I
their
don't
second
think
season.
so.
It's with Steve Martin and Martin Short, and it's like a
Oh
whodunit.
yeah. Yeah, I never got to it. Never got to it.
Fun,
Okay.
not super deep. Fun. If you like
Right.
sort of Steve Martin-y kind of humor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it invokes a different kind of writing. I enjoy it.
So, all right.
Great theme too. One of the best themes of that year. Fantastic.
I'm gonna put the old Andor trailer on so we can take a look at it again.
Ooh.
Let it go.
Get this.
See, here we go. Yeah, so we could just kind of see what was going on. I put it slow just so we could like take a look at it though, because it's important that I think like the one takeaway from Kenobi was that it didn't look as good as we wanted. It was clearly like more rushed. And when you see the stuff that they're doing in this series, like this right here could very well be a volume shot.
That is a volume shot.
Yeah.
100%. But
Definitely.
here's what I'm saying though. Look at the depth. So you got the horizon line back there, and then you go up into the cloud. Now, take it back because I want to show you, man. Like this kind of composition is important. Like,
Let's see if it'll let me.
if you can roll it back a sec here, man. Like, I'm gonna get a little artsy fartsy on here. I call this the bounding sky composition. Right? It's where you get a bit of the curvilinear effect, and you see these in like Studio Ghibli animated films a lot, where they give you a little bit of the curvilinear, but then the clouds circle around a spiral, little curvilinear thing, and then they mirror down into the landscape. It's super effective, very dynamic, very artistic. It's not straight on.
Yeah.
Quite gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean it is just a guy tolling a bell, the bell toller from the Metallica song. But it's cool.
Jason's trying to like just talk me down.
No, I'm not.
He's trying to keep everything in this subtle check.
No, I just don't have anything to I mean, it was a nice observation. I don't have anything to add to it.
Now that's a flat ass shot, but you do get the reflective water sky thing, which is nice. Whether that's, really there at Black Park or not.
Yeah, that was the Black Park Lake, I believe, or whatever you call it. Pond. I don't know. I don't know if it's a pond or a lake, but yeah. But I mean, all something about I don't know. Maybe it's. I mean, obviously because it's like a real place. It just you're able to like change the context of the real place, but it's a real place,
Another
so it has a better
another
vibe to
excellent
us.
composition, right? Where you take the horizon and the character comes from underneath and they almost curve over. It's a very
Mhm.
animation style artistic. It's not just, how do I say this, man? Like I just look at a lot. I'm wondering. I would love to see the concept art for some of these shots and see how closely they mirrored. I'm guessing very close.
Yeah. Do
This
you
is
think
just
these
cool because
are?
it's THX 1138 to me, man. Like
Yeah. So
straight up.
like that's what I was
Like
wondering is are these like are these scientists or are these the prisoners? And are they in like are they prisoners who were like in like a are they making Star Wars license plates? That's what.
also the white lights reflect off the back wall, super cool.
Mhm.
Adds a little. It's not just flat, right? Like it. See, you
Yeah.
got the three there and the three, and like they just creates a little extra depth with that reflection without
Right.
shoving a light into the wall. You know.
Yeah. I like it. And then these are is that Andor in the front? Is that like young Andor in the front? Can't really tell.
Could be hard to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Not-
great way to get like that. That whoever picked that location was smart too, where it slopes up. So as
Mhm.
you're running to it, the background's sloping up. It's not just. Unfortunately, if they were in the volume, it would be like a flat with like some kind of rigid wall of rock or something.
Right.
So,
Yeah, there's some like stuff I want to share that I need to talk to sources about to see if it's okay. But like I saw some stuff about the from the locations and like real places that they converted into sets for the show, and some of them are pretty amazing. They're
wow.
pretty cool, like caves and stuff that are just pretty amazing. So look, Salmon Pock.
Okay,
So I
that's
think
a Star Warsy
Best one was
name.
the first one also to mention the subtitles having the
Solomon
names.
Pock. Yeah, that's a good Star Wars name. He's wearing a little
I,
track jacket there, right?
yeah, I was gonna say I bet
Got a
you
little Adidas going on.
I bet you they sell that at Galaxy's Edge pretty soon. But
Hey, at least it is the 80s. I'll give him that.
but like all of this stuff is clearly done on the back lot at
There you
Pinewood,
go.
or you know what I mean, and that's what gives that Rogue One look,
That shit
which I'm a
right there
fan
is
of.
sick.
Yeah, this stuff all
That's a
looks
great
really
shot,
good.
man. That's so good, man. With the atmosphere and not a fan of these hats. It's not that it has a weird shape. It's that it's so rigid. And I
Yeah,
don't know, man. Look at this. He's got a big head, so it doesn't sit as well. I don't know.
but like
Not
I
the
was telling
biggest
you
fan of the
before,
hat.
it reminds me of the 1994 or whatever it was Mario movie, the early 90s Mario movie that they made,
A
where they
little
try to
bit.
make it gritty. Like it's like just kind of has that like
Yeah. All that other
goofy
shit I
costume.
love.
But I like
Not
it. I mean, yeah,
yeah.
it's silly though. He's not
Yeah.
supposed to be the cool. Okay, yeah, okay, here he is. This guy right here reminds me of Mario from the old Mario movie, wearing Marty McFly's jacket from Back to the Future Part Two.
But good shot with actual glass in the window. So you got
Hmm?
reflections and shit. Sometimes they cut that out, to
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm so fucking cool, you guys. Like I act like I don't care, but I really do.
And again, they're moving 3/4 across the background at a 3/4 angle. It's not just a
Hmm.
flat coming behind, coming straight at you.
Yeah.
So, which was a
Nobi.
gripe of mine about Kenobi, just the way it was like everything was like right there. It's like you didn't have to shoot it that way. Like, these
Right.
dudes. I always see John C. Riley when I see that guy back there for some reason. He doesn't look anything like him, but some kind of
Yeah.
vibe. Yeah.
These guys remind me of my old Cloud Car Pilot action figures I had when I was a kid. You know.
If you put little white hoods on their mouths, they basically look like Reclaim America dudes.
Yeah.
It's fucking guys.
Where we got some of that
The steady cam,
hand, yeah, the steady cam going.
which
Yeah.
I'd like the steady cam in the opening to Kenobi, to be
Mm-hmm.
fair. This is the shot, man. This all this set design right here, this composition, this mixing of 60s, late 60s, early 70s, THX 1138, fucking this. Oh, this is the good stuff, my friend.
Yeah, and
This is
the
the
top of it,
so
that
good.
that like white skylight kind of thing reminds me of the apartment on Coruscant that Leia and Han are in, before it gets put in the carbon freeze. I was like that kind of like design
A
aesthetic to
couple
it.
times a year, I for some reason I don't know why, I'll go down a rabbit hole of just looking at malls from the late 50s, early 60s, and it
Mm-hmm.
has that kind of like design. When they try to make malls look all elegant and they were like really clean, and
And then they
it's
got to
uniquely
Richard
Star
Mall,
Wars.
and they started making them
None
real
of this
tall.
None of this looks like something that might be in a Halo or Star Citizen game. It is uniquely Star Wars. It's of an era that just.
Yeah.
I didn't notice the screens back there before.
Oh
On the
yeah.
left and right, those screens are reflections of screens that they're looking at.
The
I never
question
noticed
everybody
that
has
before.
is, can it run Doom?
Uh,
Right.
those motherfuckers drink a lot of coffee, my friend. Now that looks like a bar. I don't know what I'm saying, Jason.
Right. Right.
It
Yeah.
looks like a bar, dude.
There she
Is there a
goes.
gong droid back here? Feels like there should be.
I can't hear anything you're saying right now.
Oh,
Motherfucker, still
can you
ringing
not
that
hear me?
bell. Yeah, I
Can
love
you
this
not hear me?
shot. I like where this shot is. I like how it's shot. Like that's such a crazy dramatic angle. There was a
Can
lot
you
of.
hear me?
Well, I could hear you.
Oh, okay. You said you couldn't hear me right now
Um,
because you were looking at her. Gotcha. Yeah, that you're right. This is
yeah, you
this
kind
is
of.
the single best shot of Coruscant I've ever seen. Only in that it is so different.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like we've all seen great, especially in Revenge of the Sith. The best part of Revenge of the Sith are the Coruscant skylines. But
yeah,
we've
that's
seen
great.
skylines since the special edition. They've gotten
Yeah,
better and better and better. This
yeah.
I've never seen a shot like this, right? Like instead of looking down, you're looking up, but it totally has a different look.
A lot of the artists, or some of the artists on the Force Awakens, when they were doing the Star Destroyer graveyard stuff, they would draw pictures that were almost, you didn't know what you were looking at first, and they wanted to make it where like the Star Destroyers were so crashed in such angles, you were like, where the fuck am I? What am I looking at? And then it would like reveal itself. Oh, that's Rey, and she's going through the Star Destroyer. And this that same kind of like dramatic like framing or angles that you know what I mean, that are just like out of the blue, like what the fuck, where is that coming from? I wonder if it's the same artist, you know what I mean, who was like, we're gonna do this. But I like that they did it for Coruscant, yeah, because we haven't seen it shot like this. And these little elevators look pretty cool too. And I like how there's elevators moving sideways and up and down and stuff. It's
The
very Star
Wonka
Wars meets
Vaders.
the Jetsons at the same time.
Yeah. And there's depth into the shots. I'll even say it doesn't matter if it's Kenobi, Boba Fett, or Mando. ILM has done extremely cinematic establishing and landscape shots on all the series. Like,
Right.
yeah, this is cool too.
The one
It's
question
just
I had when
classic
I looked at
composition.
this at first is they don't seem to be using the green lights on the Death Troopers, and the guns have the red. I haven't looked back, but I wonder if the Death Troopers had those red lights in the movie, or those different guns.
Well,
I
they
don't pay
have them on
attention to
the.
that stuff
Don't they have
very
them on
much.
the new one? We saw some thing where they had like red visors and shit, right? Like,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? I may have saw it on Meg's channel.
Okay.
That may be what I'm remembering.
Here comes Mon Mothma in her Jetsons car.
Yeah,
They're watching me now.
getting good
They can see me too.
composition. You're seeing a character thinking. That's what
Mm-hmm.
that implies.
Yeah. Fancy parties, which
Good fashion.
Highlander right here. There can be only
Yeah.
one. But I mean, once
this was
again, great shot.
hold on. This was every shot in a mock Phantom Menace trailer on the Force.net when it was like the Braveheart stuff, right?
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. Oh god, that was painful. Yeah. Oh, now yeah, Luthen. Soon enough, these days will end. So, yeah, there have been rumors too that go with that rumor we heard today that he was both a good guy or a bad guy. It was always one or the other, which obviously, if you're just making shit up, you would say, but worth noting, I guess. It definitely. I'm guessing not some kind of hidden installation. Like they got some kind of like stun
Again,
batons.
they got a smoke machine, which helps. Atmosphere helps break up. I
Yeah.
just like the little red lights, man. It's so simple, but it's cool.
Yeah, I don't think I really remember this shot from the first time I watched the trailer. During
This one I
Celebration.
remember.
Yeah, I
Because
like
I
it.
remember it reminded me of the PlayStation, Sony back in E3 2009 or 10. They had a PlayStation 3 like setup for like 3D when they were doing
Yeah.
PlayStation 3 3D, and it was like all this. I was like, oh, it looks like an arcade. Then I got in there, I'm like, it's so fucking hot. I forgot
Right.
how hot arcades could get.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so fucking hot, dude.
So that's some kind of like little booth that you sit at, correct? And you do this, you watch this screen from those.
That's why I was saying it
Yeah,
all reminds me of THX 1138 a lot.
yeah.
You know,
THX 1138, or like the kind of like those little centers for the clone kids, but like a different version, like a linear version, instead of it being like a big classroom kind of environment. It's like singular. And then see right here, we have this right here, which is that a prison? Is the question, because there were rumors of a prison, and then this is clearly our bad guy who's hunting
it's a
old.
little like
Yeah.
Wes Bentley, doesn't he? When he
He's
was
that
younger.
he's that guy from Time. No, okay, what's it fucking called? The fucking serial killer hunter, Mindhunter.
Mindhunter.
He's the Mindhunter
That's
guy, I
right.
think.
Yeah, yeah. He's in the very first scene with the interrogation at the hostage thing or something.
And this guy's all come and get it, and this guy's all come and get it. We're having a big barbecue on planet Andor. And then right here we got Mon
Yeah.
Mothma in the Senate.
Little bit of vignetting on the frame, right? A little bit of
Which I'm a
vignetting,
fan
which is
of.
nice
I
to
always
see.
Instagram. I always did on my Instagram pictures. Love it.
Yeah. Also a sign of an anamorphic lens, but okay,
Mm-hmm.
Jason.
Yeah, that too. That too.
I know a little bit. I know a little bit. Just
You know
saying,
what?
a little.
Like it when the Instagram models use it, they look cuter. No, I'm kidding.
This reminds me of the trench run if a giant head was flying through.
Yeah,
Gotta have a little fun, folks. Gotta have a
a
little
little,
fun.
little bit of fun. There's an AT-AT driver right here.
Hey, Jason. Look who joined.
Hey, Meg, how's it going?
Good, thank you. How are you? Thanks for having
Pretty
me.
good. Pretty good. I'm glad you were able to make it today. Yeah, we just went over that rumor today. Well, what are your thoughts on it? If I could hit you up about that.
Is this about Tamara Morrison or?
Yes.
So I've known for a long time he was involved in the show.
Okay.
I didn't know which clone he was going to be playing, but they're saying Commander
Fire or something like that.
Yeah, some guy from the Clone Wars.
Okay. Yeah. So you're on board with that one, with that story being legit in your opinion?
I think it sounds along the right lines, something like that.
Yeah. So when you if you can't answer, don't worry. Just say I can't say, or I don't know. Did Morrison go over and film at Pinewood?
That is a good question, and I'm not too sure.
Okay.
I have no clue.
Yeah. Yeah, because I like that was the only thing about it with that one where I was like, they could have filmed it over here in the volume. If it was the Coruscant chase scene with speeders and stuff like that, a lot of it could have been done over here in the volume, even directed from Pinewood, with them just doing what they're supposed to do over here. And that was possible. But that person in the leak was all of it was filmed at Pinewood. And so I was like, well, okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, it sounds a bit
Maybe
dodgy.
he went just to sneak on the set of Aquaman 2, get back in the scene. Like let me go down.
I know he was here for He was here for a signing halfway through the Book of Boba Fett.
Okay.
But that was for like 2 days, and it was kind of under the radar.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure if that's when he did it.
Right. Though that's like a really good. That's a really good possibility for the window of that to have happened, because I was like, yeah, I kind of hope it's true, because it sounds fun. It sounds like a pretty cool story, you know. I mean, the bodyguard with a clone and Mon Mothma and stuff like that, you know. I'd be on board for it, but yeah. So you are probably the person I know is the most excited for the Andor stuff right now. And
Probably.
yeah, how are you with all of the Empire stuff we got this week and the writers and stuff like that? It sounds promising to me. I kind of
Very
think
much so.
yeah, I don't think it's like, you know, sometimes like fans will be like, the next thing's going to be the thing I like. I know it is. I know the next thing, but it does sound like on this one, I don't feel bad for you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think this is the show we've all kind of been waiting for, visually speaking, and probably in terms of the plots. If you're like a Rogue One cultist, this is like the perfect show.
Right. Yeah, no, I was like, I was disappointed in Kenobi with the partisan stuff being all like under the radar.
Oh, you mean like Roken and Saw Gerrera and them not saying
Yeah.
anything about the link?
Yeah, they just like, he's just like, I'm just getting started, and you're like, okay, so I guess he's going to meet Saw Gerrera after this, I guess, you know, or whatever. They just didn't really like paint a link that they were partisans, and not until we saw that video the other day from the High Republic host, from the StarWars.com, and she, like, her name tag says partisan warrior. That was like the first time I had seen it like actually confirmed that the partisans were like a part of it. And I just kind of feel like in this series, we know that they're estranged, that Mon Mothma, that Cassian Andor can't just go right to Saw Gerrera. Like there's a reason that those groups are estranged. And I feel like it could be in the first season here, or probably in the second season, since they like skip years and stuff. But it definitely feels like that's where we're gonna see like the Kenobi connection to the show. But there were like rumors too that like Obi-Wan Kenobi was in the Cassian show, but I don't think I put
I
I
don't
don't think I
think
put
so.
any stake in it. Yeah.
It's the same with people kind of hoping for Ahsoka. I don't think that's what they thought of.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like so like tonally different from what they seem to be doing too. Like it almost I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't happen and that they couldn't make it work, but I think it would be pretty weird to go from like filming the Ahsoka show with Dave Filoni to like jumping onto this production, which just seems like it's like like we were talking about, it's like adult Star Wars. I mean, somebody mentioned Game of Thrones earlier, and I was like, yeah, maybe, but I kind of think it's more House of Cards Star Wars, probably. It's kind of the
I would
the
say
American
probably
one.
more Born Identity Star Wars, just given
Born
Tony
Identity?
Gilroy. And more, you might want to look at the fourth one with Jeremy Renner, the one people forget, which had more of the Treadstone stuff there and everything else. That, you know, people go, oh, give a shit. Well, I can't fucking help you if you don't. If you're gonna tell me about how fucking Star Wars is based off Republic clone, you know, serials and shit, I gotta go watch a bunch of fucking Commander Cody serials. You can watch a goddamn Tony Gilroy movie. Like,
yeah.
So I'm getting mad. I'm getting mad again.
You're getting mad.
I'm happy. Yeah. I'm happy again. I love this.
Yeah. Yeah, we're like on the back end right now of just looking at the trailer, because I haven't watched it since before we watched Kenobi now. And as I'm looking at this stuff, it looks pretty fucking nice after Kenobi. I was really happy with Kenobi, by the way, with the story and the series, but it looked like shit. You know,
I agree with that assessment.
Yeah. And so it's like kind of nice to, even this stupid speeder here rolling over looks fucking cool after what we saw in Book of Boba Fett. So, you know, I think it's the Pinewood people, and not having to rely on limited space. I think it makes a big difference with the Star Wars shit.
It does. I think there are going to be a lot of connections to Obi-Wan Kenobi, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've kind of established a few things. I don't think, especially that that scene in the vault was. You know the one I'm talking about on Fortress Inquisitorius?
Yeah.
I know that one of those ladies is in the Andor series.
I know the one you're talking about. I think I know. You're talking about the one who looks like she would sell you crystals at a swap meet or something.
Yes, the one who's dressed like the little girl who's part of Enfys Nest's crew from Solo.
Right. So okay, so we were talking earlier, Rob. We were like, there's clones. It's right after Order 66, some of it where he's about 6 years old, we think. And so maybe we're going to see that character from Kenobi in these earlier parts when he's young, and then she gets put into Jurassic Park Amber. Huh.
Well, you'll have to point it out to me because I'll forget. Like, you know.
The actor looked a lot like the Jedi Master, not a lot like her, but reminding me of the Jedi Master from the Fallen Order game. I think when that
Sarah
episode, and when the episode aired, myself included, I was like, wasn't her, was it? You know, that was the first question I had. So, yeah, do we know who the actor's name is who plays the lady in Amber?
No, but it's not the woman who's in Fallen Order.
For sure. Yeah, no, it's for sure not the same. But I was just like wondering, well, you know, like if she was an American actor or if she was a British actor. Because if it's a British actor and she was over in Manhattan Beach filming for the show, like that's probably pretty telling.
Well, here's an interesting one for you. I don't know if you saw the guy in one of the amber tanks, and he was wearing like a big, like Eskimo coat.
Yeah, like an Eskimo samurai kind of thing going on.
Yes, exactly. Well, Kyle Katarn, the YouTuber, kind of pointed out how he's heard that character is going to be in the Bad Batch season 2. So I feel like all of these shows are giving us fleshed out stories for all of these unknown Force sensitives.
That's cool. I'll have to, yeah, I haven't seen that guy's videos before, but I'll check them out because yeah. How are you feeling about Bad Batch? Are you super excited about it? Like where are you at with that one?
I'm really excited.
You are? Okay,
I'm really excited. I think it could be a really cool story.
Yeah.
To see what they're up to and kind of joining this rebellion movement.
Yeah, with Bad Batch, like I'll be honest, like my interest in it right now is not like super high. And I want to be into it. Like it's like, you know, like when like Christmas comes and you're not in the Christmas spirit and you want to be, but you're just not. Like I'm hoping that they kind of get me into it here because I like animated Star Wars a lot. Like I just feel like it has it's so much different than the live action stuff, and there's such an opportunity to do things that don't necessarily work in live action. And like, but right now I'm just like on that one, I'm like, give me something to get excited for, you know? And like, when is that coming out? That slipped my mind too.
September 28th.
September 20th. So that's
week 5 of Andor.
Week 5 of Andor, about a month after Andor start. All right. That's cool though. It's cool that we'll have those two things at the same time. You think they're going to release them at the same day, at the same time?
I really hope not. I kind of hope they do one on the Wednesday, one on the Friday, but
yeah,
it's probably going to be the same time. And I feel like one of those shows is going to suffer.
Right.
As a result, viewership wise.
Yeah, because we end up in a position where we either watch both and then talk about whichever one was the most exciting. And I think live action Star Wars is generally going to overshadow animation, even if it's not as good. You know, it's just going to take up all of the time. Yeah, that's weird.
Jason's subtle shade at Andor is hilarious.
No, that was not shade at Andor at all.
Subtle shade. That's subtle
shade. That was
even if it's the worst fucking thing ever made. I mean, I'm not saying that.
No, that's not shade. No, I think Andor is going to be critically acclaimed. That's what I think. I think you're gonna have a
like that movie, The Artist, you hate, right? Like overrated too, right?
No, I think it's gonna be the one where everyone's like, oh yeah, this is Star Wars for me, and that kind of stuff like that. And then like, but what I'm curious about is when it's spy stuff and about people flipping and moral ambiguities. Like, can I make my kids care? I have no idea. You know what I mean? I have no idea if they're going to be intrigued by it.
They play This Among Us, Jason. Of course they care. What are you talking about? They got escape rooms in This Among Us. Like, come on, man. What Yuri? I don't even have kids, and I know this, Jason.
But speaking about Andor, there's kind of an irony to the fact that a story about such a minor character from one spin-off film has the potential to be a better series than all of the legacy characters shows like Boba Fett, Kenobi. So
yeah. I mean, that's I feel the same exact way, because Cassian, like, we don't have the baggage, right? I mean, we don't have there's not some guy who's like, the Cassian show was always about the relationship between Cassian and that one old guy from the series who's kind of bad from Rogue One. What's his name? I don't remember.
Except they have expectations from a previous movie, and if it doesn't live up to what they feel with that movie, it's even worse because it's a direct continuation of that movie. So, hence the visual look. Like, if that wasn't on point, then you're already up a shit, because you immediately have to contrast it against a movie that made $1 billion, that a lot of people fucking love. So, directly in our lifetime, not like you can't go, well, that was 20 years ago and the times have changed since Attack of the Clones, it can look different, or some excuse like that. Like, no, it has to match up. And the one thing I could say they've done so far, we can't speak for the story or the music, who knows, is you look at it and you go, yeah, it's Rogue One. It's not, you go, it lines right up. So
yeah, I mean, we got, and we also have the same the same brain running it, right, through Gilroy.
Right.
That's
goodness.
like the big thing is like, we're like, I mean, let's just pretend that Obi-Wan Kenobi was the best thing that ever happened. It was the best Star Wars of all time. It would still feel weird because it wasn't George Lucas making it. Whether it was better or not, it wouldn't be consistent because of that change in the filmmaker and and that kind of stuff. So yeah, and I think what do you think? Go ahead and make.
No, I agree, and I kind of saw a comment by Maria in the chat, and she said something very true. It's like Disney does so well with their own characters, whether it's Din or Cassian, all of their own characters, they really know how to handle.
Yeah.
And they just completely fall apart. But going back to your comments about Tony Gilroy, I find it really ironic that a director who both loves and hates Star Wars so much is in charge of this project.
Yeah. I've always felt that way too. Like back in the day when, who was the first guy who wrote on Rogue One? The first writer. What was his name? The video game guy. Oh man. Gary Whitta.
Whitta.
Yeah, Gary Whitta. Big ass.
Gary.
But he told people to bootleg Star Wars and talk shit on it and said he hated it and was all over it and mad at George Lucas and shit, and then got the job and was wishing George Lucas' birthday on Twitter. Happy birthday, George! It took a total 180, and people called him out.
Well, he could be a kid. Just go, I'm a company man. Like,
sure. No, I mean, he got the job with Star Wars. I don't fucking blame him. But my take was always, you know what? I think it's good that Gary Whitta didn't like those movies because we got those movies.
Let me tell you something.
Gary Whitta is going to do something completely different than what they would do, and just people redoing what they've already done can be a very boring thing. And in this instance, I think it's Gilroy not redoing what he's already done, but Gilroy doing what else he knew he could do with that landscape.
If I had to pick, if they said, Rob, would you like to work on a Star Wars series? You can work on Andor season 2 or Kenobi season 2. Which one would you take? I would want to be on the Kenobi. Why? Because I feel that's the place I could add. They're doing what they're doing over there. They don't need me. I feel like Book of Boba Fett season 2. That I like to go where you feel you can act, even if when you're skeptical of things, you can make sometimes it gives you clarity. Clarity of what it could be. You never want to be in a position where you're like, oh, I fucking hate this. I don't get this. Why, for the love of God, am I working on it? Sometimes you can produce genius that way. It's rare. You do want to be in a position as a creative where you're like, yeah, it can be better. And here's how. It's when people don't have a take, when they're just like, I'm just excited to be here, pinch my fucking neck, ooh, everyone hug it out. It's like, that's milk toast land, man. That's Karate Kid 3. You know, we're all happy to come back. You know, like maybe 30 years from now, someone can fix this shit we made. You know,
Blake says I feel like it's almost a guarantee we'll have an open mind with a character like Andor, literally because we don't know what they'll do. That ambiguity also makes it more exciting and interesting. And yeah, I'm with you there. Like that basically is the problem with Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi is people think they know what they would say and what they would do all the time. And so like even like Darth Vader and Yoda, I always have a bit of cognitive dissonance when they do something new with them. It takes me a minute. The first time I saw The Last Jedi, I thought Yoda looked like shit. I look at it today, I'm like, he looks perfect. He looks fine. I have no reason to have a problem with it. But like it was just something new. It was like a new angle. And both seems though they both had fire too, which was kind of weird. Like those.
It also appears at a time when things are really dark. It's an odd first shot. You know what I mean? So the blue glow in that shot, it's you got to look at it for a second. Like, what am I? You know, crack open one of those glow sticks. You know what I mean? In like a dark room, and it looks totally different. Like, it just then when if you just turn it on and he glows more too than you would normally think. But that's just the color grading. So it's fine.
I think it's an interesting take though, and I definitely agree with Darth Vader. That cognitive dissonance, it not really feeling like it's really Darth Vader. You kind of your brain's telling you it's a fan film. It's not really Vader. I didn't really have the same thing for Yoda because I really enjoyed the way Rian Johnson treated the Force Ghost.
I'm gonna be honest, Meg. You want to know even Rogue One suffers a little from this, and it has nothing to do with the acting, the actors. I'm gonna tell you, it's a lack of film grain. Your memories of Vader are tied to film stock and film coloration and film grading and grain and noise. And when Vader's perfect, it looks different.
Oh sure.
I'm just saying, like it's just they need to be adding some grain to this stuff when they're working within the original trilogy era, just to keep it consistent. Otherwise, it doesn't have the same look. You know.
I wonder if that will
complain
fade.
About Rogue One.
I wonder if that will fade though.
As we
get Rogue One with Vader and Kenobi,
for good or for
Vader,
better,
you know what I mean? Yeah,
for good or for worse. I don't.
Yeah,
you know, it will be weird. You know what we'll do? We'll be able to find out when this Flash movie comes out at some point what Michael Keaton looks like to us as Batman now, as opposed to when that dude was shot on film as Batman. You know. Like, because Batman and Vader are pretty close in terms of how they're shot, their presence, you know, like very similar. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
It goes on to say the problem with legacy characters is the sense of ownership we have as fans. Whether that's right or wrong is up for debate, but it exists regardless. Yeah, like that happens too when even like characters like that I think hardcore fans like Barriss Offee. Watch when Barriss Offee finally shows up in something in live action. You're going to have like people that are like, that's not Barriss Offee. You know, that's not how she would be. And that happened on the Clone Wars because like in the Clone Wars TV show, she was sort of political idealist, I guess is one way of putting it. And then sort of a Count Dooku-ish in a way. And then in the books, she was like a nurse, like for a time. She was like a medical healer kind of thing, and like fans were just like had a hard time with the animated show when that happened. So it is one of it's kind of like how much do you take seriously, how much do you don't, and do you not even like acknowledge, you know? And I think that's what the creatives have to like do when they deal with stuff like Boba Fett and Darth Vader, and it's got to move forward and hope that the shit lands. And then and I don't think it works, but when it comes to Andor, I mean, it's the same actor, it's the same dude. He looks the same, is the same age. Like, I don't think we're gonna have any of those problems. At least I hope not. But and then
I agree with that. It's interesting you mentioned Barriss Offee because the actress who played her in Attack of the Clones was at Star Wars Celebration, and I barely saw anyone cover that.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if there's a coincidence.
Yeah.
Nalini Krishan, I think her name is. I think they should use her again for the Ahsoka show, if she's still alive.
Yeah, we're talking about the character, not the actor. She's clearly still alive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know,
You know,
she's been hanging out with Logan Paul, and who fucking knows?
2022,
you know I mean?
she's been hanging out with the Flash. Yeah. Nobody knows what's going on.
Oh,
over
Ezra
there.
Miller. Yeah.
But Arya brings up that the CGI in Andor looks fucking incredible, and Coruscant looks like something from a film. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, spot on.
Yeah, like
Coruscant impressed me so much in the Andor trailer, because in Kenobi it looked terrible.
Yeah, in Kenobi it looks like a sci-fi channel TV show from 2009.
It's exactly what I thought Underworld would have looked like. Like, it's exactly like, that's the weird part about it. Like, I look at Kenobi, I'm like, okay, if this were the first thing we ever got on Star Wars TV, I'd be like, well, it looks like what they were doing on Underworld. They just, you know what I mean? Okay, it's TV, but it is so weird that you're like, how? My friend, who's a cinematographer, seems to believe, either sarcastically or real, is probably somewhere in between, that the ILM, he calls it their E team, was on Kenobi. Like, he thinks it's a different team, you know, and he wasn't being mean, like he was being sincere.
It's probably
like,
contracted out.
Yeah, I wonder.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised. Right. I bet if we looked at I haven't looked at the credits that deep, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was contracted out to like third party people to some extent. But also, like we were talking about with like Batman and even the volume work here, like when we see the guy with the bell, do you think that volume work had the background recomposited?
Yeah,
how Batman
it probably did, because
like
Batman, yeah, even on Batman, what Jason's talking about is all the backgrounds were still recomposited. So what you get, even though it's shot in the volume and you get that in there, they recomposite them because of moiring and artifacting. But what you get out of it is that all the actors and things on set are then bathed in the light, and reflections are accurate. There's a lot of things, and you can see it really easily in like things like Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, early all digital shots, right?
Yeah.
Where you just can't get the reflections in every little thing the way it exists in real life. There's not enough time or computing power to go there and go, well, would the cup reflect the thing? Like, it's balanced light. Like, so that's why, like, on Attack of the Clones, there's all light. It's like a lot of this all lit, you know, to remove as many shadows as possible so they can just take that out of there, you know, that equation. And it, you know, times have moved on. So that's the benefit of the volume. But yeah, I think they were recomposited, Jason. That's my guess.
Yeah, me too. It looks better. It looks more like the Batman. Neil says, interesting that in Andor, all we are seeing so far are shots of humans, no droids, no aliens.
I mean, you're probably not going to get aliens on the Empire side.
Yeah.
But maybe if we see 2 tubes and Saw Gerrera's partisans, then maybe.
Yeah.
I want that eyeball guy who was making spice. The guy in the jar. Bring him back. And for the love of God, bring back the dinosaurs. That shit was. Have we all forgotten how cool the dinosaur alien was in Kenobi? That was fucking awesome, right?
Well, what's interesting is, like, I've seen like shipping manifests from Pinewood to El Segundo, like of the alien costumes and stuff that were done for like Rogue One and Solo and the stormtroopers and stuff like that. They shipped all that shit over here. I wonder if they ship it back, because or else they just don't have it anymore. They would have to like rebuild it all, remake all those masks and for aliens and stuff like that for extras. But once again, I don't know if they shipped it all. I should say they shipped a lot though, like huge those huge like shipping containers full, you know, of them. And so for all I know, after making all the Star Wars movies that they've made, there's still a ton there. But and then I know at one time they took it all and shipped it over to this other studio where they were going to start filming Star Wars, the Kenobi series, when it was going to be a movie at one point, and then that COVID happened, that all fell through, and I don't think that studio has anything now. I can't remember what it was called. It was something weird though. I couldn't pronounce it because it might have been like in Wales or something. Where everything is hard to say for me. Baymax says they should transfer the final edits to film and recapture it digitally for the natural film grain. A trick is done with analog tape for compression and back to Pro Tools for audio. No brainer.
That's what they did on the Batman.
Yep. Yeah, one of the guys who mixes my stuff does that for me with like analog effects and stuff, like for music, and it makes a huge difference. Like the saturation is just different and stuff. So
I think Lucas should have done them for the prequels, for 2 and 3 specifically. Not obviously the first was shot on film, but on 2 and 3, he should have done that and then released the all digital to the digital only theaters. You know, like I get it. Well, it was put on film, right? Yeah, but it had a different look. Like they should have on their end mucked it up. But I know he was all about clarity of image and shit. But I did see Attack of the Clones in an all digital, the IMAX release, right? On a digital IMAX release or whatever at the time.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And it looked the best it looked ever.
It was a better edit too.
It was a better edit. My buddy saw that. It was the first time he saw Attack of the Clones with me. And he was like, this is good. I don't know what everyone's complaining about. And then he got the movie when it came out. He's like, what? This is different. What happened? I was like, I had never told him it was a different edit. I just let him be happy. Like, you know, and then he was like, damn it. Sorry, Meg. I'm not, you know, I know you love it. But I do think the IMAX edit is a stronger version of that film. Like, I would say it's as good as the Phantom Menace, the edit, the IMAX edit.
Do you know about that stuff, Meg? For the Attack of the Clones IMAX?
Not really. This is the first time hearing of it.
Yeah, when they back before theaters went like digital, and they were showing Attack of the Clones in IMAX, they had to basically they could only do a certain amount of reels, or like one reel. They couldn't do like multiples, and so they had to edit the movie out to make the runtime work in IMAX. And
I see.
And so the movie fucking books. Like they just cut out all the fat. Like if anything didn't need to be there or whatever, and they shortened up moments, and it's really fast, and was actually a really cool way of seeing. Because I know you were I meant to bring that up to you because you were working on something about Attack of the Clones, like a documentary that you guys were working on. I was like, might be something to like dig into if that's
absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
That's so cool.
Chilean Airways had a question for you, Meg. He says, Meg, since you're a fellow Rebels fan, are you worried at all for some of the character translations into live action?
Kind of. I was very impressed by Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka. I was kind of like, before she was rumored to be in The Mandalorian, I was kind of wondering how are they going to pull that off so well. I was worried it was going to look like a cringe Shark T cosplay.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of worried for some of them. I think they'll absolutely ace Ezra and Sabine because Natasha Liu looks pretty similar. Hera probably will be cool, but I don't know if it was you, Jason, who said you're not too sure if Zeb is going to be included in Ahsoka.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything for or about Zeb, like from behind the scenes stuff I can't talk about, and stuff like little things I've seen here and there. I haven't seen anything for Zeb, and I'm once again not saying it's not happening, just haven't seen anything.
What did you?
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have him and then explained in like a comic how he died. That'd be such a shame, though.
Or couldn't they just say he's helping his people, like he's,
with the other guy, Agent Callus.
Callus and him are, leading the Lasats, I think they're called, and so maybe they just don't get roped into this adventure, and would open the door for them to do it later too. But I
think of Cad Bane's design, Meg?
I think some people kind of exaggerated how bad it was. I think he was fine.
We've got to remember. Bad?
No, I thought it was good. I think people exaggerated when they were complaining about him.
Though.
Yeah, people thought it was bad.
People thought it was bad. Really? There were like tons of like re-edits on YouTube making him super blue, like with a long face. And you've got to remember that animation and live action are completely different. And the proof is just like in the Clone Wars animation, like Count Dooku in real life doesn't have
that chin,
a nose the size of his head.
Yeah, so when people say they want the Batman animated series as a movie, they're going to re-edit Batman with the giant fucking chin, like the Bruce Timm face.
Yeah.
Give everyone hourglass waists and like tiny feet.
I mean, like for me, if it generally looks like the character, if it has the spirit of, and the performance lines up with what the character is or should be, and I don't know what the big deal is. I mean, but I also like the Grand Inquisitor, and the more I watch Kenobi, the more I think he's hilarious. Like, I just think that like the Grand Inquisitor, I think fans were looking for Darth Vader in him, and when you watch him in the series, he's pretty fucking hilarious. I think he has good scenes, and I think it's funny, but I think it's funny for being an asshole. But so I guess
I like him in Star Wars
all the
Larry.
fans are going to disagree with me. They're like, no, he should have been scary and cool. But I do think he could have looked cooler for sure. But
and also, just to catch on to what some of the comments are saying, Bo-Katan's phenomenal in live action. Katie Sackhoff just translates so perfectly from her vocal role to her live action role. And I'm meeting her this weekend, by the way.
You are?
I am.
Oh wow!
She's in London with Omid Abtahi. He plays Dr. Pershing for the London Film Convention.
Oh, nice. You have to tell her to go on your show and do an interview already. Come on. You're ready.
I've reached out in the past. I never heard back from her agents.
Yeah. Be like, I used to watch you on Battlestar Galactica when you were nothing. No, I'm kidding. Don't say that. That won't work. That won't work.
That will backfire.
You ever see when they went to, before COVID, because I guess her and Harloff way back in the day used to date, and so they're still friends, and so they all went to Universal Studios, horror night or whatever, and then and they were all getting like scared and shit at the Stranger Things, and the whole night it's crazy. It's fun to watch because one of I guess Makuga literally screams like a freaking girl anytime. So, but she was like no, like there was some times, man, where get a little everyone at them horror shows.
I think I think as they were, I mean, this is just conjecture on my part, but I feel like as they were creating Bo-Katan and moving into that like territory where they started to bring like the Pikes into Clone Wars and stuff like that, I feel like Filoni was probably like of the mindset like this character could be in live action someday, and like I'm seeing Sackhoff as this character, and I kind of almost feel like the character was conceived both in animated form and live action, like from that angle, and like that's why that one works so well.
Can I say that the only thing I've seen from those cartoons that's come to live action that I think looks horrible are the Pikes. Like the Pikes are the one that I'm like, that didn't look like what I saw in the cartoon with the Bad Batch. Like,
and in Solo, a Star Wars story, I think even looked better than it did in Book of Boba Fett.
I agree, they were quite good in Solo, but not in Boba.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was, they just kind of kept. I guess the big difference is in Solo, that was like basically one character that was like a featured creature, and in Boba Fett they were making dozens of them, so they just kind of started half-assing it, I guess. But and as Maria points out, Bo also isn't an alien race.
Do you remember the Play-Doh droid factory? Right, where you just get like a mold and you shove the Play-Doh in, and you're like, I'm making a bunch of R2s, I'm making a bunch of 3POs, and they don't look as good as the toys, right? It's just kind of a mold. Yeah.
Talking Sith asks, was the scrapped Maz Eisley project back in the day Kenobi? Maybe, could have been, but I had heard that it was something to do with Del Toro for a time. That they were like gonna start, and then that also was canceled and never got off the
Benicio or
yes, no, the director,
Guillermo del
Toro. Yeah, Maria says alien races are hard to translate from animation to live action when they are not planned to make it to live action. If you plan ahead, you can pull that off well.
Yeah, but there's a lot of silhouetting they do with those characters in the Bad Batch that they could have done easily, like with darkened hoods and those glowing eyes and that. They didn't do any of that. They're just like, look, they're fish monkeys, like they're the sea monkeys, right? Those things you put in water and they grow and shit. Like they're just, I don't know, like something very cartoony about it. I know you're like, but it came from a cartoon. Yeah. These are supposed to be some scary dudes, and I thought they were really good in the Bad Batch cartoon. Their design.
Well, it's like Deborah Chow when she sees the Grand Inquisitor. She's not like looking at him from the perspective of I've always imagined him in live action looking this specific way. She's like, who's this guy? What's his role? What's his story function? Okay, cool. And then she's like, yeah, that'll work. Like, I think that's how she saw it. Whereas like Dave Filoni, because like Rosie says, I have to admit, I was a bit worried about how Zeb will look if he ever goes into live action. But Filoni always saw that. You know what I mean? When Filoni was doing it, he had in his mind how that translated from Star Wars film into the show, especially at that point when that late into his role at Lucasfilm. So I would have to think he would have an interesting idea. So I think if he does it, I think it'll be good. I'm not worried. But also at the same time, if you didn't like Cad Bane, I think that's how he saw Cad Bane translating too. And some people had a problem with that still. But they've been cool though, right? I mean, like Ahsoka's tentacles, they've gone and changed that to make hardcore fans happier.
I thought you were gonna say Ahsoka's testicles.
Yeah, that's what those are. Those are the head testes of the. She's a Togruta. Yeah, they're called Togruta head testes.
I mean, where else would she get such livelihood and spunk?
Yeah. I
mean, I can confirm those are testicles. Sorry.
when I liked in your video today, Meg, when you jumped over to the visual dictionary.
Like yes.
You like jumped over and like I was like, what is going on? I was like, this is the Meg cam. But if you kept going, if you had turned the page one more, you would have seen Togruta head testes. And
I've got the book right here.
Yeah, so then.
Actually, the next page is Admiral Rados.
Yeah, on that page it's a pop-up and they just fly right at you. It's crazy.
oh, the old pop-up book style?
Yeah, pop-up. Boosh. Whoa. Yeah, Rick McCallum. That was his.
Speaking of, like when we're talking about Zeb from Rebels, I kind of feel like he was made to be a cartoon character. Just the way the voice actor does him.
Yeah.
Just his kind of comic relief role.
Yeah. But he does.
And I'm not too sure if that would work in live action.
I thought for certain, given his role as the original Han Solo Chewbacca hybrid, right? Was that was the character Lucas would have brought back for the prequels in the Jar Jar bit. Like I thought he would have been like, we couldn't have done that with a puppet back in the day. So, now we have the technology to do it. Like the fact that character never made an appearance in the prequels baffled me, because it's just right for showing what you could not have done compared to what you can do.
Like if I was making the Ahsoka series and I was to translate Zeb to live action, I would probably want it to look like a Rick Baker costume from the Cantina. I would probably, and then make the eyes in some way where the money was spent. That's how I could see doing it. But it is kind of weird because you're right. He has like, I don't know what is his accent? Is that like an Australian accent?
It's Australian, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a gruff Australian accent. Like it coming out of that mouth would be a hard.
Well, Jason, we tried doing this in the 80s, and he just looked like a furry Mac and me. It didn't work out.
Furry Mac and me.
Yeah, it's true.
I do think Vanessa Marshall could have been Hera. I do think that like it completely would have worked if they had gone that way. But what do you have a theory, Meg, on who's playing Hera? Do you think it's what's her name, the woman that Ewan married?
Yeah, I think so.
That's like, my take.
Not to sound weird, but like we see her in the Ahsoka trailer they showed at Celebration, and she's walking turned around, and I dug up some YouTube videos of what's her name, Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Oh yeah,
they kind of walk in the same way.
Yeah.
What? Oh yeah. Have you seen 12 Cloverfield Lane, Meg?
No.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
No, I
highly
really
recommend.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's really good, and she's fantastic in it. Like,
yeah, if you like space invasion movies and
I do.
And then, yeah, it's like like the newer like War of the Worlds movie they did where you're like, oh, like kind of like the drama's all like in that basement sequence of it. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like it has like a serial killer kind of aspect to it. Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out if it's streaming anywhere, like on a service and you see it. It's definitely worth your time. And she's great.
Greg Witta says you should just steal it.
Gary Witta.
Gary Witta, sorry.
Gary Witta.
Horrible with names, bro. It's better if I get it wrong. That way he can't come at me.
Yeah, I think I'm always going to remember my stupid headline for that article. We have a Witta problem.
So, that is good.
Yeah,
that is good.
He didn't appreciate it at all.
I missed that one.
But I was on his side though. I was on Gary Witta's side. Like I was like, it doesn't matter, that he doesn't like.
Who do you think would win in an anger war, a rage war? Gary Witta or Goldsman, the director of Indy Jones? Mangold. Yeah, Mangold.
Oh, I'm gonna say Mangold's like his anger is it's a very masculine man. It's just different. It's just different.
He was trying to pick a fight with Humberto Gonzalez, who works out. You know what I mean? He's like Humberto's. I wouldn't. He's doing that. He got on that BVS workout with the chains and shit. Mm-hmm. And then Mangold was like, "Oh fucking shit!" I'm like, "Whoa, shit."
Well, let's be honest. I remember sitting with Humberto in this really fancy bar one time, and we're like talking, and I looked down at my shoes, and his shoes looked like they were made by like Geppetto or something. I don't know, but I looked down at my Converse, and my Converse, I wrote "fuck" on them for no reason at all. But I have one left foot says "fuck." And I go around on Birdo's shoes, and they're like these like leather fucking nice shoes. And I was like,
he's got the Rogue One of shoes, and you got the Kenobi sneakers. See, I tied it all in, folks. I'm on a roll today.
Baymax says Zeb to Lover Callus. All right, darling. Get up them apple and pears and stop having a Steffi.
I think I can say it in the way he intended.
Yeah, you can do it. I can't.
All right, darling. Get up them apple and pears and stop having a Steffi.
What is Steffi? What is Steffi?
I think it's like stop being like stroppy. Cheer up.
Okay.
I feel like in British English you can make up any word and just put it in the place of a very like obvious kind of like emotion.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of, whenever I read anything in an accent, I just figure like there's some inside joke that I don't get, but I kind of get the meaning still. Like that's how it always reads to me. So
it's kind of like you can use so many verbs to mean drunk.
I feel like the only way Americans have ever come close to this is like the way they've changed text speaking and shit, right? Like BRB. Or all that shorthand, like we got our little shorthand. Right. We're not good with that. We just curse.
We own that? Mostly. I don't even know if we own that. Do we own that? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Skylar says we've never seen Zeb species in live action before, so it'll be interesting to say the meats. But and then Maria says Steffi equals temper tantrum. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. It's like see, I didn't know. Like I knew, but I didn't. So. Yeah, my one of my favorite things is when Bespin, teaches me how to be street in the UK or whatever, and it's pretty funny. I can't remember any of it now. All I know is that you're all part of Mandem making Star Wars. That's all I know right now, from memory. Are you cringing?
Say that again.
A Mandem.
Mandem.
Yeah, he says that like they go like Mandem. Making Star Wars or something like that. It means
Mandem making Star Wars.
Yeah.
Is he from London?
He's from he's from Wales.
Okay. He's different country.
Yeah.
He's a Welshalorian. See, that's what we're good at. Dad jokes. That's what fucking Americans invented. Stupid puns. Yeah. Very simple.
Welshalorian.
The Welshalorian.
Yeah. 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 I know it's not deep, Meg. It gets a job.
I like that it rhymes. Steffi Graf having a laugh. But I think we're gonna call it a show, you guys, because it's lunchtime. I'm hungry. What time is it where you are, Meg?
It's 9 p.m.
9 p.m. Yeah, so it's not lunchtime there, but it's lunchtime here. But thanks for coming on and hanging out with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
thank you for coming on.
And you are always welcome. Any day you just want to come hang out, and I forget to invite you, just say, send me the invite, motherfucker, and I'll send it to you because we love you.
I will keep that in mind.
And we'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Rob will still be drawing. I'll still be drawing on my bad theories.
I have to work, folks.
He has to work. He's got to eat too. He's got to have lunch too. But and thanks everyone for being a channel member, for being a Patreon supporter and supporting the show. And we'll see everyone tomorrow at the same time, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.